Hey guys, how's it going today? Welcome to a new episode of your favorite podcast. This is episode 498, and this is your host Martin. Alright guys, so I hope you guys are having a good day. So today is Friday, it's the weekend for some of you guys. I don't actually know because me, I'm in kind of my bubble here. I don't know if people went back to work or something. I just watched a few videos on YouTube. So there's this channel, CNBC, that I kind of like because they have some really interesting videos about, economy and entrepreneurship and stuff. Seems like people are still, in the US, still like stuck at home and stuff. I'm not sure, but if it's your case, hopefully everything's good. So anyway, Friday, weekend is coming, and today I was with a friend of mine, really helped me again. That's one thing. It's very important to have the right people around you. If you have the right people, there will be, it's just like really good support, really good, conversations, and it can lead to a lot of different things, So I wanted to talk to you about something which has something to do with what I just said. And it all starts with a statistic that I saw. I saw it in the video somewhere. So it was something about the movement Black Lives Matter, where people were quoting some statistics about like wealth between white students, for example, and then black students, right? So they ran this survey or something like this, experiment, and they were looking at the what do you call it, the net worth, right? So people's net worth, and they realized that, let's say for example, the net worth in university was slightly higher for a white student than a black student, something like that, on average. But what was very surprising was that even after they graduated and they had their first job, in a lot of cases, the black student or the former student had a lower net worth or disposable income than when they were a student. Okay, which was it was kind of puzzling. I was like, dude, but why is that? And so what they were explaining was that in a lot of cases, it was because it was probably the first person to actually make it that far in the family, like, finishing, graduating from university and all that kind of stuff. And then because of that, they basically, instead of, I'll say minding their own business and building their own career and their own life, they had to support a lot of people in the family because they were the kind of like the top dog in the family. And so instead of being able to invest in stuff, then it was, helping a lot of people, So, which brings me to kind of like my point. You'll see where this is going is, the network that you have around you, like the people you have around you is actually quite important. So one thing that they were saying was that, well, because in a lot of cases, it's not always the case. The white student had pretty much like everybody in their family went to university and all that kind of stuff. Parents were well established, and again, this is it was average stuff, right? So it doesn't apply to everybody. But basically, because of that, they could have better connections. Well, made by my dad knows this guy and all that kind of stuff, right? Whereas the other student, the black student, didn't have this because they were the first person to actually make it that far. Okay, so that shows you that the network that you have it's very important in the kind of like the success that you're going to have, or at least the opportunities that are going to come your way. Okay, so it's not the only, there are more than one ways to get opportunities. So you can't just say, oh, no, I don't know anybody, that's why I don't have opportunities. If you don't have those opportunities that can actually come by themselves like this, then you need to hustle and get yours, okay? So it's not an excuse to say, oh, well, you know what, I didn't have the connections and this is why blah, blah, blah. This is just people making excuses. But, you know, it was very revealing of how important like the connections and stuff like your network is in the opportunities that you will get through you know, introductions. Oh, here's my son, here's blah, 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 you know, that kind of stuff. And also, if you are the one person that's supporting all the network because you are kind of like the smartest person in the room or the richest person in the room and stuff like that, right? So, you know, it was very revealing. So I told you that you know, the network, the people you have around you it's very, very important. I didn't phrase it this way, so this is another way to phrase it. So you know, technically speaking, I mean, you are you know, the average of, you know, the 5 people you spend most time with. I've already told you that you know, a few times, and I told you that. You know, it's not like you necessarily have to spend time with these people in like real life, you know, being out for coffees and stuff. You can actually do it virtually by, you know, going, you know, following training courses online, or, you know, reading books, or, you know, listening to people's podcasts, and, you know, stuff like that, right? And it actually, it really, really matters and will help you a lot. Okay, so I don't want to hear people making excuses of, oh, well, I didn't have the connections that they had and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, you know, it helps. Some people have kind of like assets that you don't have. It doesn't mean they don't do everything, right? So if you suck, right, even if you have the connections, you will still suck. And if you don't have the connections, but you're very good, there is a good chance, and you hustle, right, there's a good chance that you might actually be able to get there, right? A lot of the billionaires, I don't know what percentage of billionaires are self-made billionaires, okay? These are not people coming from this like super rich family or in Hamptons and stuff like that, right? They basically build their own wealth, but you still have to understand this concept of network around you, the people you spend a lot of time with, and you know, who you know and how you know them, okay? Because it is important for the evolution of whatever it is that you're trying to do, okay? So again, it doesn't mean that you need to ditch all your friends and then, you know, start acting Mr. Fancy Pants and all that kind of stuff, but it's something that you need to really understand, okay? So that's the first thing that I wanted to say. I already, made a few episodes about this, so I don't know if I should go any further. But one thing about success, right, is and that there are, there are different definitions of success. Everybody has their own definition of success. There is not one definition. Some people will tell you, man, you know what, success in life is, you know, having kids, all right? And to some people, that's success in life. Oh, I had kids, that's it, successful. For some people, it's, oh, I want a company where I have 2 million people, right? That's success for them. Some people will say, you know what, my life is a success if, I don't know, oh yeah, if, you know, if I pick up women, you know, left and right and stuff, you know. So there are a lot of definitions of success. Don't be fooled by the notion that, you know, there is one definition. The success of your neighbor is not necessarily yours, right? You have different motivations, and you need to pick your motivation, all right? But today I wanted to talk to you about one particular motivation that, you know, a lot of people have, and I will try to explain why I think it's dangerous. Yeah, I mean, at least in my opinion, right? So again, this is my opinion. So if it's your case, please don't don't take it the wrong way. Okay. So the motivation that I'm talking about is some people who have a chip on their shoulder. I think that's the expression in the U.S., right? A chip on the shoulder. So these are people who have something to prove to someone else or to everybody, okay? So you probably know someone like this, or you're maybe one of them, you know? One thing that was fascinating is I was watching this documentary about the Chicago Bulls, the Last Dance, and Jesus Christ, I mean, Michael Jordan, he had something to prove to everybody. I mean, the guy was Jesus. I mean, you don't really understand the magnitude of it until you see the documentary, and you're like, wow, that must be a really hard life. He had something to prove to everybody. If someone says, oh, I'm gonna show you, it allowed him. I mean, it was fueling the guy, but it was consuming him at the same time, right? So if it's your case, for example, and you're being honest with yourself, it must be very, very exhausting, right? So you have something to prove to someone, and I don't know. Generally, it's because you didn't have something when you were growing up, or something was unfair, or people preferred some person because they had this, you didn't have that. Well, it comes from there. So I don't know, you didn't have any money when you were growing up, or you didn't have this, you didn't have that, right? I don't know, you were invisible to women, and so now you want to prove to everybody that, look at me, I'm a player now, and stuff like that, right? So, okay, I'm not a psychologist or something, maybe I'm just making that stuff up, so please don't be offended or something, but this is the thing. But here's the problem with this, okay? The problem with this is that your motivation is external, right? You have an external locus of control, okay? So basically, it doesn't come from within. You're basically basing your happiness on what other people will think, okay? And the problem is this, you will always find someone. There are 7.5 billion people on this freaking planet. You will always find someone who is unhappy about what you're doing, someone who doubts you, someone who thinks you're a phony, you're a scam or something. You will always find someone like that. So what does that tell you? It tells you that this never ends. If you have stuff to prove to people, it will never end. Never. Because again, you will find doubters all the time. There are doubters everywhere because they have a different opinion about what you should be doing and stuff like that, So that's the first problem. The second problem is this, especially with like stuff like money and stuff like that, right? So, one of the most common things is, well, you want to show them, oh, I'm going to show you, right, So, and this is stuff that can be it's understandable. So I'll give you the example of business, right? So business, you wanted to start the business. Nobody believed in you. They're like, oh man, you're a failure. It's never going to work. You'll come back crying and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. And so, you want to, I'm going to prove you right, all right? And then you start making money. And then what you want to do when you make that money, then you want to rub it in their face, okay? So what you do is you start buying expensive cars and I don't know, flashing your lifestyle, social media, blah, 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 to show people that, look, I made it, you bastards, you didn't believe in me, okay? I remember, someone who, came to my house on holiday and was ready to go back to work, right? And it was like, oh no, I still have one more day. I need to go out and take some pictures to rub it in the face of my colleagues. Ha ha ha. And it seemed normal for that person to say this. And I was like, dude, this is really sad. I mean, your holiday, so you're not actually enjoying the holiday. The holiday is just a period of time where you take some pictures to post on Instagram to basically mess around with your colleagues. Jesus, I mean, how bad is that? Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? So this is what these people will do. They will now start buying expensive stuff, or pretend actually buy expensive stuff that they actually don't need, go to really expensive places, really expensive hotels and all that kind of stuff, And this is a dangerous game. You know why? Because here's the thing. again, as I said, you have something to prove to people, okay? And there are a lot of people on this planet, man. There are a lot of people on this freaking planet. So that means you always find someone you have something to prove to. And the other problem is, you might find some people you want to prove something to who have more money than you. So I don't know, you buy this this car, all right, or this, like, I don't know, like here, I'll take the example here in Bali. You buy the scooter and stuff, and then that person buys a bigger scooter. Like bang, 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 the thing with the, and you're like, oh man. And I see people, and honestly, I see people, they're like, oh no, I need to change my scooter. And I'm like, why? It works. Oh yeah, no, but I need to change it because blah, blah, blah. This guy bought this scooter. And I'm like, Jesus, honestly, I really don't get it, right? But anyway, you will always find something bigger, something better, something newer. You get a phone. Like, for example, if you see my phone, right? People are making fun of me. I actually have this protection, how do you call it? Like a screen protector or something. I think this time I really need to change it because there's like a plastic thingy that they put under the glass thingy. And this thing is like visible and everything. But still, I have an iPhone 6S, right? I'm specifying S, right? iPhone 6, right? I don't care. People are like, oh man, gee, you need to change your phone because otherwise you don't look good in front of clients. I'm like, dude, like, honestly? And these people, they're just changing phone all the time. So iPhones is a very good example. Is every, I don't know, 5-6 months, there's a new phone that comes out. What do? You want to impress everybody, then you keep buying the damn phone. And you think they're going to stop producing phones? They're not, right? So you're going to keep moving to a bigger house because this guy moved into a bigger house. You want the new phone. Oh, there's a new iPad. There's a new this. It never freaking ends. Okay. So basically, here's what happens. Okay. And please understand the kind of like the chain reaction that comes just from this one thing, this one motivation of having to prove something to someone, right? Because this thing there, it comes from one decision that you made, and it will follow you and have like disastrous consequences, okay? So what happens was you said, oh man, I'm gonna start this business and I'm gonna show you right, okay? But the objective for you might have been to have this business that actually makes you money that you can you can enjoy, right? But the problem is you always need something bigger. You need a better apartment, you need a better this. Oh, this guy got a Rolex, this guy got an iPhone 11, iPhone blah, blah, blah. You keep spending a lot of money. So you always spend more and more and more money, right? So if you think that people cannot spend more money than they do today, well, think again, right? The Parkinson's law. Right, the more money you have, the more money you have the ability to spend. And there are people, basically, you think they're making money. Well, they are making money. Are they keeping the money? That's a different problem. You make money and you keep spending more. I told you, the thing people get used to this lifestyle, and then it's hard for them to go back, right? So you keep spending more, and you never actually get to keep the money. All right. So if there's one thing that you need to remember, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. Okay. Please remember this. It's really not about how much money you make, it's how much you keep, right? Because I give you 2 examples. Let's say you have this company, right? I'm going to use like very simple, math, because my math is not the best, right? Just imagine you have this company, and the company makes $10,000 a month, okay? $10,000 a month. But in order to do this, let's say, for example, you make $10,000 a month, and in order to do this, maybe you spend $500,000 a month, and then once that money arrives, then you spend another, 300, 400, right? So at 4,000. So at the end of the day, you only have 1,000 left. Okay, you made 10,000, you only have 1,000 left because you're just blowing the money somewhere, right? Whereas you can have another company that makes I don't know, 5,000 a month, but the person, they get their 4,000 a month and they only spend, let's say 500. So at the end of the day, you might think that, they still have, I don't remember, the 3.5 or maybe 4, I don't know, I don't know, it's not scripted, so I don't even know the example that I give you, but they might have 3 times more money than the other person, and you might think that the other one's richer, right? It's really not about how much you make, it's how much you keep. So this is why if you are building a business or something, anything you do, you need to focus on the profits. The revenue is what people are telling you about. Oh man, we made this, we made that, blah, blah, blah. This is revenue. There is a big difference. So, and the best example is all the drop shipping stuff that you hear lately. Oh, look, we made $1,000 a day on Shopify. Well, yeah, but these guys, you ask them, they spend $500 a day on Facebook to get that $1,000, and you're like, oh yeah, but that's 500 profit. No, it's not profit, because then you need to buy the freaking products that the people bought. So out of that, they might actually, out of that 1,000, they might actually honestly keep maybe 150, something like this, if anything, right? Because very often, and these are the people who actually make any money out of it, because very often they might actually spend 800 to get that 1,000. You know what I mean? It's well, anyway, this is another story. But that's the problem. The problem is, because of that decision, you always end up spending more money, because there are more people to impress. There are more people, more doubters that say, hey, well, you have an iPhone, I don't know, 11, but look at Bob, he just got iPhone 12. And you're like, what? And then, what do you want to do? You want iPhone 12s, right? Just because someone said something, okay? So it's really not a good place to be. And then one of the things that will happen is this, you're always chasing someone's approval, respect. I don't know if it's respect, approval, or you want to make them miserable, or resentment. I don't even know what it is. I think it will depend on people, right? Some people is actually you want acknowledgement from, I don't know, your parents or something, because you were the ugly duck in the family, and you just, you're just doing this, you want approval. Some people want revenge, some people want, fear or respect, some people just, I don't know, you know what I mean? Some people want, I don't know, women or something like this, admiration, But the thing is, this will eventually be, you will kind of like define yourself with this thing. It will be, oh, this is me, the wealth, the blah, blah, blah. And you will actually kind of lose sight of who you are, honestly. Your whole life is going to revolve around this, and when people are going to ask you whatever question, oh, hey, what do you do? I know a guy like this, It was fascinating. I mean, you could see on his face, people who have like long teeth that actually like scratch the floor. In French, when you're ambitious, we say that you have like really like long teeth and stuff. But this is the guy, right? I'm like, hey, dude, how's it going? Oh man, super. We just made our first $1 million month, or blah, blah, blah. Every time you say something to him, hey, how's it going? How's the family? Family is good. We just went on this holiday. We spent 50 grand. And I'm like, dude, I didn't ask you that, right? And it has become, he will define himself by this, all right? And what happens is, if that goes away at some point, he will be very, very depressed. All right, if it's insane. People will go down that road. Okay, I'm just going to give you an example. It happened to me as well. So it wasn't with money, right? It was with basketball, which has nothing to do with money and stuff. But I used to be very, very good at basketball, and I'm telling you all this stuff as well. Kind of like I lived some of that stuff, not to that extent. It was a little bit different. But for example, I told you I was very, very shy and kind of like invisible I basically made sure that I was invisible, because I wasn't able to articulate 2 words, right? And one thing I was recognized for, and I was very good at in all my efforts, were going towards was basketball. I was very, very good at basketball, to the point that people came from different cities and different, from different cities or different parts of the city to play on the same playground I was, just to play against me, right? So basketball became who I was. It became a definition, until one day, well, I broke my leg really bad, right? And I was in a wheelchair and stuff like that. Then, they didn't fix my leg properly. And basically all that stuff, all that basketball, the basketball guy was gone, all right? And for me, this is who I was. I was the basketball guy. I was Mr. Basketball. I won a lot of like slam dunk contests because I had a lot of ups. And so people knew me for this. They were like, oh man, this guy can fly. But now I'm stuck to the ground, right? I can't jump anymore because I won't be able to jump anymore like ever in my life like I did before. So it was hard, right? Because you're like, it ended up defining you. So that's why I know something about it, right? And when everything you kind of like think about yourself is how much money you make and all that kind of stuff, dude, something happens and you don't make that money anymore or something, it will hurt, right? And it doesn't even have to come to this, because there are other problems that you will have, right? So, and I'm going to give you some other examples of this. But let's say, for example, you make all this money, right? And you're flashing the money, you have the cars, the jewelry, you're always spotting, buying expensive champagne bottles and all that kind of stuff. And I've seen some of my friends do this. I don't know, I just didn't get it, but anyway. And then you have all these people start flocking around you, all right? Which is good in the beginning. You're like, oh man, I'm being admired and stuff. But then at some point you're wondering, well, are those people with me because of all the stunts and me flashing bottles and stuff, or they genuinely care? Do these people care about me, about how I feel and stuff? Do they? And you don't realize, but this is actually stuff that matters. Right? You might think that, now who the fuck cares, I throw a party and people come and we have fun and blah, blah, blah. But some people, they come there just because there's a party. They really don't care about you, okay? And how do I know this, right? Because I live, I've lived in different countries, I've traveled a lot, and I live abroad, right? And one good example is when depending on where you live, right? If you have a high purchasing power because of the currency you're paid in and the currency you're spending in, then you are confronted to this problem. So, for example, just to give you an example, here in Bali, if you're a foreigner or something, then you're rich, all right? And you might actually have women that are, local women that'll come and see you, hey, how's it going, and blah, blah, blah. So is it because they actually think you're cute, or is it just because, all right? You could be anybody, right? You could have, horns and be yellow and purple and stuff, but just because you're a foreigner, they don't actually care about you and they want money. So I'm not saying it's the case, but you can wonder, right? You're like, dude, is it because they actually care, giving you another example is, I went to Cuba with a buddy of mine, right? And it was very sad when I went to Cuba. A lot of things were very sad. I mean, there was some, like good things I loved about Cuba. There were things that were very, very sad because, they were isolated from anything, because, since the 70s, man, Jesus, man. How long a grudge can you hold against a country? It's crazy. But anyway, not here to do politics. But, so we ended up in this, so the first day, right? So we get there with my buddy, and we meet this guy who is how would you call it? He has a tricycle, and basically you're sitting on a tricycle, he can drive you around, like a tour guide or something. And so, yeah, we make friends with the guy. The guy was really cool and stuff. So, and so we arrive at the hotel, so we were asking a bunch of people that we met, where do we need to go? And go to La Casa de la Música, Casa de la Música. Everybody was saying this, And so we don't know, we don't know any better, right? We just got here. So So we meet this guy and we ask him, oh, what about the Casa de la Música? What is this? And he said, oh, well, you know what? That's where all the tourists and all that kind of stuff go. And he said, look, I can take you to a bunch of places. Do you want to go to the Casa de la Música? So basically he said, look, Casa de la Música is a place where all the tourists will go. And basically you get there and you're swarmed by maybe 10, 12 women who are fighting for you. Oh, I want you, I want him and stuff. And you know, some people, they go to Cuba just for that, because once they arrive there, then, oh, you know, you have all these women, or all these women who are just basically jumping you, you know. And he said, look, I can take you there, or I can take you to another place, you know, more local place where you can go there, you have a drink. If you don't want to be bothered, then nobody's going to bother you. If you want to go and talk to women and stuff, you can go talk to these women, and you know they might talk to you. You know? So we said, oh, you know what? Yeah, let's go to that second place, you know, which is better. I don't like that kind of stuff. So so we went to the other bar. It was really nice and everything. And when we were there, there's some people say, oh yeah, no, you should, you know, it's an experience. You should still try Casa de la Música. They put some really nice salsa, some blah blah blah. So I said, oh, okay. So at the end of we spent a few hours in the other one. It was really cool. And we said, yeah, let's have a look at this thing. We're just going to check it out like 15 minutes, right? So look, we stepped in the place. So honestly, I still had one leg outside the establishment. There were already like 4 women fighting to grab each of my arm. And they were like, oh, come with me, papi, blah, 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 etc. And I was like, what? And they were like, oh, you're so cute, and blah, oh, come with me, let's go here, let's go there. And I was like, dude, you don't even know my name. You don't know my name, you don't know who I am. I just stepped here, we haven't talked, nothing, all right? So it was obvious that they were doing this not because, I don't know, not because I'm the most beautiful man on the planet, or we had this deep conversation, or they had feelings for me. It was just because I was a stranger, right? I was a foreigner, and it sucks, all right? It sucks. You know, so after 10 minutes, we said, oh, yeah, one sec. Then we left, you know. And, you know, living your life not knowing if all these people there are there because they actually care or not, it's really not a good feeling. It might not seem like much when you've never like experienced that situation, but trust me, when it happens, it sucks. And you can see that in a bunch of like, you know, Hollywood movies and stuff like that. All these artists who have all these parties, lavish parties, they have millions of friends, and then something happens to them, they're depressed and everything, and then they call, nobody's there, you know, nobody is there because all these guys were fake friends, you know. So this is one of those things that you can end up suffering from and basically becoming paranoid, you know, about, look, why is that person in my life? Are they after something or not, right? So, you know, but again, you know, because you have something to prove to people and you want people's approval, then this might be something that you don't necessarily take into account until something goes bad, and then you realize that nobody actually cared. You know what I mean? So, you know, what's fascinating is that if you look at the people who make like real serious money, all right, these are the people. Just look at how they dress. All right, do you see them wearing like the Gucci's and the gold chains and the blah blah blah? They usually have plain clothes. You look at Steve Jobs, well, the turtleneck. Zuckerberg, he has the same T-shirts that he wears all the time. A brand like I think it's Allbirds. Allbirds is a brand that all the CEOs and stuff love because it's a brand of shoes. With no logo, no nothing, no fancy nothing. You see these shoes, they just look plain, which is what they like. They don't like anything fancy or anything, right? And I mean, the goal is not to look rich, is to be rich, okay? There's this saying. But yeah, the goal is very often, I mean, these guys there, they only have to prove something to maybe themselves. So I'm just maybe talking BS, and some of them had something to prove to their dad or their mom or something like this. But, you know, they're not out there flashing all the money and all that kind of stuff. And they seem to live a life that's more sane and fulfilling. Because honestly, if you're just trying to impress people and dude, I mean, it's going to be a long process, man. This thing will never, ever end. Never. All right, never. People are always there's always someone's going to be unhappy. But whereas if you only have one person to satisfy, and that's you. I mean, what do you think? Do you think it's easier to satisfy one person than 7.5 billion people, right? So there is only that person inside you. That's the only person you need to worry about in terms of satisfaction. Is that person satisfied? Yes. And then you're going to be happy. That's what you need to focus on. Then I'm saying this, and it's easy for me to say it because this is how I'm built. All right. I don't freaking care about anybody's opinion. All right, do you see me flashing money or anything? You should see how I'm dressed, right? People are making fun of me and stuff. I always have the same clothes that I bought maybe 5 years ago, something when I first got here. I don't have any fancy thingy. My scooter, people are like, oh man, you need to change that scooter. Because I'm like, no, the scooter works, man. What do I need? Oh yeah, but you didn't see they have this new NMAX with the blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I still have my iPhone 6. It does the job, right? What do I do on the phone? I don't do much on the phone, right? I do a little bit of WhatsApp. Everything I need is there. I don't need to impress anybody. You know what I mean? So, that's the thing. The solution to this is just focus on satisfying that one person that's inside of you that will solve all your problems. Trust me. And you should focus on the quality of your life, okay? Not the money, okay? Because people are like, oh, well, I need $5,000 a month. Right? They just put a random, I need $5,000 a month. Until you don't have that $5,000 a month, then oh no, this is not good life. But yeah, I told you how much, there is this app from Tony Robbins that basically helps you calculate how much money you need to retire and be, and live well, like the life you want. So you have a financial vitality, financial freedom, financial independence, financial abundance, or something, like different levels, And the ultimate level for me, right, which basically on that level, you have your bills are paid, your food and blah, blah, blah. You can go out shopping for clothes and you get money to do the travels that you want and maybe something a little bit exotic and blah, 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 right? So that level there, right? The ultimate level for me is something around 2,000 euros a month. All right, 2,000 euros a month. That's how simple my life is, right? So you first need to decide, okay, what is that dream life that I want? That will make me happy. Right? So you find this, and chances are that this thing, instead of costing you 15 grand like you were thinking, it might actually cost you like 3, right? Honestly, my life is so simple. I could have said, oh yeah, I think I will need 20 grand to be able to have this life where I can travel, I'm free, and I don't have to think about money if I want to buy the things that I need and that I want and stuff. Yeah, my first guess would have been like 20 grand, 30 grand or something. No, it turns out it's 2. All right. So this is what you need to focus on. Start with the lifestyle and the kind of like the life that you want. All right. And don't go and, oh, I need to buy a yacht every single week. I mean, maybe some people like to do this. I don't. Right. But you will realize that, oh, you know what? Life is actually a lot simpler than I thought and a lot cheaper. And yeah, just focus on pleasing yourself. Right, that person inside of you, and you'll see it will make a huge difference. Okay, so anyway, if you are one of those people who have something to prove and stuff, I don't want you to be offended, all right, by what I said. I really don't want you to be offended. And again, it's just my opinion. But yeah, in my opinion, this is a long, endless road. And if I were you, I will try to snap out of it. And also just to realize something, it's something that I realized myself. So I'm telling you this from experience, right? When I was younger and I was shy and everything, it's because I thought that I was under a microscope, like scrutiny. Everybody was looking at all my very last moves and everything I was doing. But dude, people don't care, right? People have their own life to deal with. They have their own problems. They have their own ambitions and stuff. And people have a lot of problems. They have their own problems. They're not looking at everything you do all the time, right? So, half the time when you're doing your stunts and stuff, it turns out that nobody freaking cares anyway, okay? So just understand this. Because the motivation is also, from the fact that I was under the impression that everybody was looking at my every move. And then if I said this, maybe someone will think this and blah, blah, blah. No, and then now I realize nobody cares, man. But do you think I care about about my neighbors, about their every move? I don't. I don't know, 99% of what they do, I don't know. Maybe sometimes I see them by complete accident for like a second. This is when I will realize, maybe they have, she cut her hair, or I don't know, the guy is bald now or something. But other than that, I don't care, all right? And it's the same for you. Stop trying to impress people. They don't care. They have other things to worry about, okay? So anyway, that's pretty much it. That was actually a long podcast, Jesus Christ. And I will see you in the next episode. That was your host, Martin. Bye-bye.